for all the support, the authors which are giving us continuously. In this conference, we have received around 850 articles, and the selection criteria is around 18%. So you all should be very happy that you are part of this conference, because we have not compromised on quality, and high quality papers have been accepted. So and apart from that, very soon you will get the mail for the extended paper versions also. So I think Aninda sir must have joined.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Morning. I hope you all can hear me clearly, right?
Yeah, right, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Raghav,
Yes, sir.
please introduce him, sir. Ananda, sir.
All right. For the first keynote session, we have Mr. Ananda Bose, Executive Senior Editor, Springer Nature, London, United Kingdom. Mr. Ananda Bose is presently working as a Senior Executive Editor with Springer Nature, London. Mr. Bose is part of the global acquisition team at Springer Nature and responsible for acquisition of scientific content across the globe. He is responsible for acquisition of content in interdisciplinary applied sciences. He has more than 26 years of industrial experience in marketing and different fields of publishing. Mr. Bose has completed Masters in Organic Chemistry from Delhi University and Masters in Marketing Research from Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies, Pune. Mr. Bose has delivered more than 150 invited talks on scientific writing and publishing ethics in reputed universities, international conferences, and author workshops. He has published books for secondary level in chemistry and is a member of the American Chemical Society, USA. The topic for this keynote talk is Publishing Ethics and Author Services. We welcome you, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Raghav. Thank you, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you have joined us. A very, very warm welcome, as I said, first keynote. So I hope I will be able to deliver a good talk, which was useful. And first, I would like to say thanks to ICICC team, organizing team, for inviting me. I am a big fan of physical conferences where I can go, I can meet people, I can share a cup of tea with them. But unfortunately, every time it is not possible. And recently I've been moved to London. So coming back within a month is impossible, although Ashish was very insistent that you should come and join us. I hope the next conferences which are taking place in London, I will be able to join them physically. So without taking much time, today's topic is basically a very interesting one because many people have a lot of queries related to publishing, and it is always difficult to get these answers, because once you go to your best friend Google, you try to write a query, you get n number of replies, and a person gets lost where I can find actual information. So the whole idea of this talk is basically to give you some details, to give you some insight, and where you can go and find information. Because I believe in reading, and reading which enhances the knowledge, and reading enhances your thinking skill, your writing skill, everything. So definitely when you read more, you learn more. So my whole idea of giving this presentation is basically to give you certain details where you can go and read on your own and build on your knowledge. Let me just share the screen. Hi, I hope you can see the slide right now on your screen, right?
Perfect, sir. Perfect.
Okay, great. So as we are talking about publishing ethics, and we will also cover some areas of tools. A little about the organization I am coming from. As you all know, Springer is just completed 180 years last year. And this is an organization which started in 1842 by the person whom you can see on your slide, Julius Springer. He started this as a small bookstore in Berlin, and then we started publication. Many Nobel laureates have published with us. We came a little late out of Germany, and the dynamics of Europe was very different at that time. We founded our office in Vienna in 1924, and one of our biggest office in Heidelberg in 1946. Now the organization name has changed since 2015. You must have heard Springer Nature. And Nature is a part of Macmillan Publishing Solutions, and Macmillan and Nature, they became a part of Springer. So it's a big joint venture which has taken place in 2015. And now we have one of the biggest offices in London where I work. So this organization is not the oldest publication, but definitely we are there for a long time, and we are helping researchers, especially the people who are into scientific research for a long time. In last 30 years or so, we have ventured a lot in other areas also, like human sciences and other areas. So definitely you can, people who are from that area or anybody is working on SDG or any other area can also take help from our content. Ethical issue. So first thing which comes to mind in ethical issue when you are talking about it, it's copyright, correct? So copying is not right. But I don't want to tell you about the definition over here. The main idea of this particular slide is to give you an information about an organization called COPE, which the logo which you can see over here, which is like Committee on Publication Ethics. All good publishers are member of COPE, and we have to follow guidelines and regulations of COPE when we are dealing with any unethical activity. So it is very important for researchers, if you go to this particular website and see what content is available there, what are the guidelines and policies which are there in relation to ethics. Because ethics is a very, very vital part of research. And when you know the rules properly, then it is much easier for you to work in that area. So COPE gives you a fantastic guideline. COPE also provides a platform where you can actually discuss your problems. So many people go to COPE and they discuss their issues and they get different kind of replies from different people. So it's a platform where you can communicate also. So I fully insist you to go to this particular website and check what else exactly is available there. Now, when we talk about ethics, when we talk about unethical activities, there is something which is very important thing, which is now people are talking about is retraction. Now, retraction is something which was not there when electronic publishing was not there, because when we had our traditional publication like hard copy, print copy publication, then there was no possibility of retracting or taking back anything. We cannot take back anything which is already sold, purchased, or read by people. So there is a possibility when the digital publishing came into being that there is a possibility of retraction. We can see if any unethical activity has been done by any author, then there is a possibility that we can retract that content from the digital platform and we can put a note over there. Okay, this is the reason basically for which the content is retracted. Now, a survey was done, almost 8 to 10 years ago to understand what are the reasons for retraction, So many details were looked at, and then finally it was there, we found that honest error is the biggest problem for retraction, reason for retraction. So, what is honest error? Honest error is something which is like, you don't know you are committing an error. That means you don't know the policy or you don't know the guideline well. That is why you are committing an error unknowingly. So that is why I asked you to go to the site called COPE, where you will get to see a lot of information and you will get first-hand information from people who are working in that area. Then there are reasons like fabrication and falsification. Definitely, internet plays a big role because a lot of data is available, and from this data you get a lot of information and you can falsify and fabricate and use that, and which is highly unethical. And that is why retraction happens. Then there are redundant publication like self-plagiarism. Then there are other reasons also. There is another unethical activity which is we call it simultaneous submission. Now, simultaneous submission is interestingly submitting the same proposal to multiple publishers at the same time, or submitting the same journal article to multiple journals at the same time. Now, why this is unethical? Because, one author might say that, I am just submitting the proposal to multiple publishers, or I am submitting the article to different journals, but I am not publishing them. I am going to publish with the single publisher only. But still, this is very unethical. The reasons are it's a waste of time, it's a waste of effort, and most importantly, waste of resource. And who is this resource? This resource is the reviewers. Because this is a very interesting industry if you look at it, because when you are writing an article and publishing that article, you are an author. When you are downloading an article and reading that article in your domain, you are a reader. So you are, at one point of time, you are an author, and the second point, you are a reader. But at the same time, you have a third role also, which is reviewer. So this is an industry where you have a triangle, or three different roles were played by a single person. And resources are very, very limited. Reviewers are very, very limited. So when you are submitting the same article to different journals, then we are sending it to different reviewers. So one article is being sent to multiple reviewers, which is not a good sign and which is a waste of resource. That is why simultaneous submissions are also unethical, not only simultaneous publication. Simultaneous publication is just like a crime, but definitely simultaneous submission is basically a unethical activity. Then we have a buzzword called plagiarism. Plagiarism is something where you will find what exactly is plagiarism. I don't have to tell you. It is basically, meaning is stealing. But we are smart people. We know all the thesaurus words, synonyms. So we don't use the word plagiarism. We use overlapping. We use similarity, but the meanings are very same. So don't plagiarize anything. If you are using content from any previous publication, then please give reference, please give recognition. There is a document again, which is called Association of Research Libraries 2012. You can find this on Google, and this will actually help you to understand what is the fair use. That means how much content actually you can use in your paper from previous publications, whether it's your publication or someone else's publication, there is a fair use. Beyond that fair use, always take permission. But my suggestion is that always take permission. Don't even think about fair use. Any content which you are using from previously published work, if it belongs to someone else, it's okay. If it even belongs to you, please take permission from publisher and then reuse it. Now, how we get to know about plagiarism, as sitting as a publisher, how we get to know about plagiarism, there are different ways. Like sometimes the original author, who is basically looking into different contents of similar area, they come back to us and they say, oh, my work has been plagiarized. Sometimes it is reviewer. Very seldom, but reviewer, they have a knack of understanding the content. When you review more, you get to know, okay, this is something which I read previously, or this is something which has come across to me, So they also gives us alert. And thirdly, we also get to know from whistleblowers, like as a reader. As a reader, when you are reading content in your area, you might get come across, the same paper published at two different places. So you tell us, oh, this is plagiarized, and you give an alert to the publisher. We all know there are tools for checking plagiarism. But I can tell you these tools are there. Obviously, different tools like Icicc is there, Docolock is there, Turnitin is there. But they cannot identify plagiarism, interestingly, because they will throw some similarity index numbers. They will give you some similarity content. Okay, this is the percentage of content which is similar. So that is not giving you the idea of plagiarism. That is actually giving you a percentage what is basically taken from different papers. You need a human eye, or you need an expert to tell you whether the work is plagiarized or not. I'll make it more clear in next slides. This is a plagiarism checking tool, which is like Icicc, which we use in Springer. That is why I can give you the screenshot of this. This is the inside story, which you can see. These are results basically, of different papers. Reports will generate it over here, and it will give you 11%, 4%, 34%. What is the similarity content, basically. This is a very colorful paper, but interestingly, this has 93% similarity. So this is a highly plagiarized paper, and you can see 39% is the single source. So that is also very important, which we will discuss in our next slide. Some tips which I would like to give you. As I said, the tool cannot detect all problems, because I told you, we need a human eye, or we need a subject expert to tell us why there is a plagiarism and why these numbers are just, giving you a hint not actually telling you whether it is plagiarized or not. A low similarity score does not mean there is no plagiarism. Let me give you an example over here. Suppose there are two papers, X and Y. Now, X has 30% similarity and Y has 10% similarity after running through a machine or like your tool. Now, this 30% is more. So definitely by looking at numbers, you can say that X is more plagiarized than Y because it is 10%. Now, when you go deep, as I said, human eye or a subject expert, there is a possibility that this 30% is coming from 30 different sources. That is just a single line match or a word match or something like that. And it is coming from 30 different sources. But this 10%, which is Y, it is actually coming from maybe from a single source. Now the problem is the single source 10% is more dangerous than this 30%, which is like, so Y is more plagiarized in spite of low similarity score. Now there can be a problem like if both the papers have same similarity, suppose it's both of them says is 30% similarity. Then what you have to do, you have to look at the individual scores. This is 30%, this is also 30%. So X has 30% from 30 sources, Y has 30% from 3 sources. So then Y is more problematic because individual scores are very high. So definitely you need an expert to tell what exactly is happening in your paper, and just these numbers which are thrown by tool is not going to help. Now you will come back to me and you say then how to look at it, how to have a, how to use it. Now using is like, it's interestingly, if you are checking a paper and it is giving you anything less than 20%, then you can check that paper and send it to the reviewer until and unless it's a single source 20%. Then if it is 21 to 35, then you can return it to the author and ask him to make changes because it has some similar content from previous work. If it is more than 35 or 40%, I don't think there's a possibility to publish that paper again. That needs to be completely reworked because 40% similarity means if the author is again going to make some changes, they are not going to make substantial changes to anything. They are basically changing the language. Now, setting a standard, that is why is a problem. Now, another important thing is only publications by participating publishers and societies. Now, all these tools, they use a cross-check database. Now, this database is basically created by them with all good publishers as well as the internet content. Now, if something is outside this database, that cannot be checked, number one. Secondly, anything which is in hard print copy cannot be checked by a digital tool. So only publications of participating publishers can be checked. Common phrases. This is very important, like common phrases or some definitions or something which are not excluded. Sometimes they are also going to show similarity for common phrases and all. So a human eye, again, a subject expert can say, oh, this is a definition. This is something which is needed for the paper. So the similarity which is showing can be neglected. Then we have permission. You have already taken permission. Suppose you have already asked the author or the publisher and taken permission for the work for using it, but still the tool is going to show it as a similarity. And importantly, a subject expert can only check and say, oh, permission has already been taken and this can be used. There are problems with patchwork plagiarism, salami publication, which you can see in Google. Patchwork plagiarism is another issue where people are basically creating content, or I should say fabricating content, which is like very difficult to identify at times. But these are all unethical activities, so stay away from them. Don't go into unethical activities. This is going to take more time to do all these unnecessary things. Rather, spend your quality time on creating a quality content. Self-plagiarism. As I said, self-plagiarism is something which is like a big reason for retraction, but self-plagiarism is, you need to understand this. Any content which you have published before cannot be published in the same form again. That is self-plagiarism. So whatever content you have published before, you can refer it. If you have or if you are using some content from your paper, please give recognition and reference very clearly into it. Or if you are using some substantial, like you are using some algorithm from your previous paper, take permission. Without taking permission, even if it is your own work, you are the content owner, but something which is already published cannot be republished in that form. So take permission and use it. As I said, data fabrication and falsification, this is like, because of internet, a lot of data is available and people get these data freely from the internet and they use it for their own cause, but that is very, very unethical. Please don't do it. So general advice from my side is verbatim copying should be put into quotation marks. If you go to that fair use thing and you see, okay, this is a fair use, I can use single line or 2 lines from a content, please put quotation marks unless it is too lengthy. If it is too lengthy, please go and take permission. Give credit to the original author. Sometimes when you approach an author doesn't know how to give permission. So it is always better to go to publisher to get permission. Always request permission for reuse of figures and tables, even if it is a single figure from your previous work or a figure from someone else's work, a table from your previous work. Please take permission and then use it. Otherwise, it is plagiarism, self-plagiarism or plagiarism. Now I will tell you how to take this permission. It's easy. This is a screenshot of a chapter which is published in Springer. Similar type of things are available with all good publishers. You can go to the page where your publication is showing or someone else's publication is showing. You can go to the bottom of the page. You will find there is a link called reprints and be taken to a different page called Rights Link. In Rights Link, they will ask you some questions from where exactly you want to use this figure, whether this is from your own paper or someone else's paper. So all these details you have to furnish. Immediately, they will generate a digital permission to you for reuse of the content. So it's easy. Go and use this particular feature. Don't use anything which is published before without taking permission. Author services and publishing tools. As I said, I will tell you about some publication tools and author services which you have to go and explore, which you have to go and read on your own, and that will help you to understand many things. And these daily tools are always useful for the purpose of research. Firstly, search by subjects. We get to get this question from many people, how to find an editor, how to look for an editor in Springer and how to approach a publisher. It's very easy. Go to our website, springer.com. On springer.com, there is a link in the top called subjects. You go to subjects and you will find all these subjects are lined up there. Now, if you really want to go to computer science, there's a computer science link. If you want to go to engineering or mechanical engineering, go to engineering. Under engineering, all the disciplines will be there. So you can go to mechanical engineering, and in these pages, the next page which will open, you will find there is a link called Publish With Us. In Publish With Us, you click it, the details of all editors will be highlighted over there, will be given over there. So you can very well see who all people are basically dealing in computer science. There is a complete demarcation over there with notes that this person is in book, this person is in proceedings, this person is in journals. So it's easy. You can go to the subject. From subject, you go to the page, Publish With Us link, and then you can find a person whom you can approach. Reviewer Finder, a very interesting tool, because nowadays when you want to publish your paper, mostly the journals are asking for to give names of reviewers, and this is happening for each and every journal. So how do you find a reviewer? Sometimes it is not easy for you to find a reviewer. So there is a tool called Reviewer Finder. This tool is available on our website. This is a free tool. You can go and you can use it. This tool will help you to find reviewer. Now, interestingly, I find a different use of this particular tool. That is basically finding people in your community, like how you are finding a reviewer who is working in your area, right? Similarly, that person who is working in your area can be a collaborator. So looking for your networking is also possible with this tool. Author and reviewer tutorials. If you go to springer.com, go to the button called services. In services, there is a link called author, and on author, we have journal authors, we have book authors, all the links are available. So all the informations are available. You can go to that particular link and you will find lots and lots of information. You don't have to read everything at the same time. When you know where to go, you can go at the time of need. And these are like a reference material where you can go again and again and you can see whenever there is a need. Shared it, another tool which we have developed almost 4 or 5 years ago. We started with journals. We have already done it for our proceedings, and we are in the process of doing it for books. Like any paper or any article which you have published in Springer Journal or Springer Proceedings, you will get a link called shared it link. That link is also there at the bottom of your published article. And also production people can send you that link. Now, what is the utility of this link? The importance of this link is you can share this link with people who want you to read your work. So you can share your work legally with them. They can see your work. They cannot download it, they cannot print it, but they can read the whole work. Now, this works in a reverse way also, which is rather more interesting. Suppose you want to download a paper from Springer. Your university has not basically subscribed to that journal. It will say, read the abstract, and you have to purchase it. Purchasing, good cost you have to pay for an article. So better to go to the corresponding author and write a mail to him or her that please share it with me. So the author can share their work through shared it with you. So there's a legal way to get the paper. There are many illegal ways also, you know, and I also know, but there is no point to go to illegal way. So shared it is a legal way of sharing your work, and shared it is a legal way of getting someone else's work shared with you. ORCID ID. This is an ID which is very important for all researchers who are publishing, because I feel when you publish, the idea is to make your content available for the readers so that people who are working in your domain can read it, cite it, and then will get the citation of that. But if your ID is not proper, then there is a problem. Similar names are there in the industry everywhere. So ORCID ID is important because you get a unique identifier, unique number with your name. And many journals are nowadays are asking for ORCID ID. So please register and have ORCID ID. Our open access journey, you know, open access is something everyone is talking right now. Open science, people are talking about. Open science is much bigger than open access. Open access is just a small part of it. Open science is like open data, open platform, open tools, everything where, you know, because collaboration and networking is the biggest thing. And when collaboration can only happen when content is open and people can take help from that. We started our journey long back, you know, in 2000, in the year 2000. From the slide over here, you can see we started with Biomed Central, and that was the first platform where we started publishing open access. We published our first fully OA journal in 2005, first OA book in 2011, so almost 11 years. And in last 11 years, we have published almost 2000 plus books. And in 2021, we have published our 1 millionth OA article. So we are doing our bit from our side, and this area is growing heavily. But open access, there is a small caveat, and that is basically it's an author pay model. Author has to pay for publishing their work. So there is a funding available for authors. You can go to this particular page, www.springernature.com/in/open-research. This page will give you the details of funders. There are funding available, and there are people who are funding it. There are organizations who are funding it. So you will find almost 300 organizations or institutes are there who are funding open access articles, journals, and mostly 65 to 70 are even helping you with your book publications. So it is always good to go to this page and look for a funding support in case you are looking for an open access publication. Why open access publication is important? Because reachability is very high of that paper. Citations are very high in comparison to a closed paper. So definitely open access is something which one should go for. This is a page where you will get to know about the policies, because I said in the beginning itself, I told you about the COPE site. Beside COPE, there are pages which we have developed, and these are the pages which we have really worked hard to develop for researchers, and it is very, very useful for you guys to go and see them. You know, it's springernature.com/in/policies. Now, these policies are like publishing policies, editorial policies, book publishing policies, and beside that, we have research data policies, because we are using a lot of data in our content nowadays, and it is very important to understand these research data policies. Open access publication policies, like how you can actually work in open access environment, and these are very important. So this page is like a page which you can refer back again and again, and I'm just telling you about these pages where you have to go and you have to read on your own and develop your knowledge, correct? Then we have some open access blog platforms where you can go, you can share your views, you can share your research, as well as you can read many things which are available. And these blog posts are, everything is not meant for you, but definitely there are many important aspects which come up, and they will help you sometimes in your career also, finding a career also many times. So it is important that you should know about these blogs. Like one is Springboard, which we are maintaining. Another is The Source. The Source is very common and very good. And The Link, these are all OA blog posts, blogging sites, created by Springer and maintained by our author servicing teams. So you can take help of all these, and you can go and read and you can also create some alerts over there. In case a particular topic is published, then you will get an alert from there. Before I conclude today's talk, quickly a few references again, books which will help you in your work. Number one is How to Write and Publish a Scientific Paper. This is written by Barbara Gastel and Robert A. Day. Robert A. Day is considered as father of scientific publishing, because he is like a person who has went from one place to another place for 25 years and telling people how to write, how to do this scientific writing. And then we have another book from Getting It published by William Germano. He himself is a publisher, and you can see all the nuances of publication is basically in this book. So these are the books where you can go again and refer back. This is not one-time read, but definitely, as I said before, also all the pages which I have shown you, these books are also similar. Whenever there is a need, you can go back and you can refer it. There is a book which is close to my heart, is Textbook of Research Ethics by Sana Lu. This is used as textbook in many universities, and this is a good book on research ethics, and I feel as a researcher, you should read this. Recently, there is a book written for writing for publication. They are talking about different tools that support scholars' success and all. So this is a new book, which is a Springer Text in Education is the area in which they have written. So you can see all these books, and the first two books are very important, and they talk a lot about what exactly you have to do, what all nuances are there. So definitely they are good to buy and keep it for yourself. This is a particular report which we have created last year. This is like Unlocking Potential. This is the 5th report which we have created on SDGs. If you want to see this report, you can go to springernature.com/sustainable-business. This is a link, and you can see this report. This report talks about what exactly we are doing in SDG and how you can participate. If you are working in any SDG areas, in any 17 of the goals which are which started by United Nations, and if anything which is basically your domain is matching with that, definitely this report will be very helpful, and you can collaborate with us. So my suggestion, my advice, my request is basically work sincerely, focus on quality, say no to unethical activities, and stay happy. So if you have any questions, we can take it right now. If you go back, use these tools, and then you have more questions, don't worry, write to me at aninder.bose@springernature.com. I will be very happy to address your queries through mails also. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule, and those are very inspiring words. If we have any questions, we can have them in the chat, or if anyone has any, or you can connect later with sir, as sir said.
So thank you very much for the very valuable information you shared with us.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you. So you may ask anything not related to the slides. If you have any publication query also, you can ask. The important thing is, asking questions. Questions are never stupid, only answers are. So you don't have to worry. I will give answers. So
I have one question, or one means while we were discussing about tortured phrases, you said something about, na?
Yes,
so you can
yes,
just give the information related to that. That is one of the latest kind of plagiarism, I think.
Now I think people who are in computer science, they know very well the term GPT-3, right? And Chat GPT, which is like a very common terminology nowadays. Everyone is talking about it, and people are using, many countries are banning that thing, which is started by OpenAI 8 years ago. Now, I don't know whether how useful or harmful that Chat GPT is, but yesterday I was talking to one of the researchers, and he said there is a website, something called GPT-0, and they have created GPT-0. Whatever you have basically created by Chat GPT, you can go and paste it over there, and you will find whatever content is plagiarized in that. So interesting things are happening every day, and it is happening at a phenomenal pace. Now, Ashish is talking about tortured phrases. Now, tortured phrases are like the words which are used, synonyms of words, and to make a paper look authentic, but it is basically a plagiarized thing. So these are tortured phrases like artificial intelligence, like a smart city. Instead of smart city, you like brilliant city. Instead a smart grid, smart gadget, you like intelligent gadget. So these are the words which are very specifically created, and these are the words very easily identified by any tool, and they can be replaced also. So these tools are sometimes very dangerous, and sometimes they are very helpful also, I can tell you. So don't go into the unethical aspect of it. Use whatever is available ethically and use it. So these tortured phrases, you should be put yourself away from it at the moment, because I don't think that is a good way to write your paper or anything. There's a question over here. International Conference on Data Science is scheduled. Okay, now how much time taken by Springer to publish conference proceeding in Springer? That's a very interesting question, but I don't know which conference is this you are basically referring to. It happened in November. See, it all depends when we are getting the manuscript. It is not only with us. It is important that at what point we are getting the manuscript. Sometimes we get the manuscript before the conference. Sometimes, mostly we get the manuscript after the conference, once organizers or volume editors are free. Sometimes they give time to even authors to revise their papers after the conference, and this is very rampantly happening in cases of biomedical sciences, in case of physics and all. So, but computer science is a fast industry where you will find most of the papers, they come quickly to us, and we usually take 12 weeks time once we receive the manuscript, 12 to 14 weeks, and time basically is consumed because it is published in multiple formats. Now we have to publish anything which is coming to us in hard copy, in digital format, and not only the digital format on Springer.com. It is like digital format for everything. You can read on mobile, you can read on Kindle, you can read on iPad, but for everything there is a different format for which we have to develop at the back end. So it takes around 12 weeks, 12 to 14 weeks. I don't know where in this conference when you have basically the manuscript has been received by Springer. And it also depends sometimes on the proof checking. The proofs are sent back to what kind of a proof checking we are doing. Sometimes proofs are sent back to only the volume editors, so they check it. Sometimes it is going to all the authors. So how much time author is taking is also very important, because if you are not giving the proofs on time, then if there are more corrections, so there are multiple reasons for the kind of time we take, but usually it is 12 to 14 weeks once we receive the manuscript from the conference organizers. I hope I have answered your question, but you can specifically find who is this person who is dealing with this, and then you can write to the person. That is not a problem. Yep.
Yes, sir. I had another question coming from the chat.
Yeah.
In case we wish to submit the same paper in more than one conferences, what tips and tricks could be followed to do the modifications intelligently?
See, intelligently, you don't have to submit one paper to multiple conferences. That is the first answer I can tell you. Please don't do that. That is the whole crux of my talk, that simultaneous submission is something which is, because I said that also. Sometimes authors say we are not publishing it, we are just submitting it, right? But when you are submitting a paper to multiple conferences also, then you are actually using the resources, right? The conference organizer is going to check your paper, send that paper to some reviewer. That reviewer will spend time, and just imagine that you as a reviewer, you are checking a paper, you are giving 3 or 4 hours, which you are not getting any remuneration. Maybe you are not getting any recognition, but after 4 hours of your expert time, that paper is going nowhere. It is not even published. That is something which is a crime. So why you want to send your paper to multiple people, multiple conferences at the same time? Don't do that. You send it to one place. And if you are not hearing back, now you are living in an era of quick communication, right? You don't have to worry. You just see how it is moving ahead. If you see that nobody is taking care of your paper, you are not getting replies, you immediately tell them, I want to withdraw my paper, I don't want to continue with you, and I want to go to a different conference or a different journal. Be clear with it from your side, even if you don't get any replies from them. But communicate beforehand, so that even the organizer, even the editors of the conference, they know that you are not even interested. Or if you are sending it to multiple places, then you are wasting everybody's time actually.
Thank you, sir. Are there any more questions?
What are the article publication cost in Springer? Very, very good question. I don't know who has asked this. This is a very good question. See, the publication cost is there when we publish open access. There is no publication cost for non-open access journals, books, or anywhere. In fact, when you publish a book with us, we give some kind of fees and remuneration to people. But for articles, definitely we don't give any remuneration, but there is no charge also. The charge is only there when we are publishing anything in open access form. Open access means content is open to everybody. It can be accessed freely. So when the content is accessed freely, then the organization like publishers like Springer, they are not getting any revenue out of it. So someone has to pay for that. Someone has to pay for publication work. Someone has to pay for maintaining that work on the digital platform, everything. So there is a cost attached to it. And this cost is basically, we say, author paid model. So this article publication cost, it changes from journal to journal. It changes from different books also, depending upon what kind of a book you are planning, what kind of book you are writing. So definitely, you can go to these funders, which I have mentioned. Because as an author, if you ask me, as an author, I don't have that much money to go and publish in open access. So someone has to pay. And who is this someone? Some institute, maybe my institute, maybe some other institute, maybe some funder, sponsor. So you have to approach them, tell them this is your work, they will analyze it, and finally they will take a call whether they want to publish your work, help you with the open access publication or not. There's another question which says many of the Scopus journal are open access and closed access. They are taking 6 to 12 months review. After that, probability of accepting is very less. As Anna University or JNTU don't consider open access journals. Yeah, there is a misconception over here. People talk about paid journals, right? People don't use that word open access journals in India. They use the word paid journals. And paid journals are not good. That is what they always feel. Now, you have to understand, when we are talking about open access journals as a good publisher, then we take serious note of everything. It's not that open access means we are not doing any review. It's a review process, checking process, quality process, publication process, everything is same. Only thing is that it is not closed, it is open. And it is, so there is a difference between this understanding. There are n number of paid journals, and these paid journals are creating problems. And that is why JNTU and Anna University and all, they have come up with all these, rules and regulations. And I don't disagree with them also, because somewhere you have to put your foot down and keep check. But you have to understand this, these paid journals are not good, but open access journals by good publishers are equally good journals. That needs to be understood. Secondly, when you are publishing in open access journals, you can very well check which are good or bad from a particular list called Beall's list. There is a name called Beall's, Bealls. You go to Beall's list and you can download that, and you can very well check which are basically bad journals, or then you can take a call. Okay. But if a university is not actually accepting, then it is very difficult on your part also. I can fully understand, because you cannot say that I want to publish in an open access journal, which is like will not be considered by university. It's Beall's list, Bealls. I will just change it to just a second. Everyone, and I put the. This is the Beall's list, is the list where he's a person basically. He developed this list and then he started getting threatening from different journals, and he stopped everything. Now again, he has relaunched it, so you can go and check. Do you suggest any kind standard closed access journal list? See, interesting way. I have not talked about a tool which is called Journal Suggester. You don't get time to tell everything in a particular session. There is a tool called Journal Suggester. I will just put it again over here so you can go and check. This tool you will find in our website. If you go to first page services under authors, journal authors, you will get this Journal Suggester. It's very easy. Go to that tool, give the title of your paper, give the abstract or keywords of your paper, you will be suggested a journal. So you can get suggestion from a tool, and this is developed by a company called eDance. You can even go to their website, eDance website, because we publish around 3,700 journals. And if you want to find a good journal out of 3,700 journals, maybe it is a 5 or 7 journals in your area, right? Not more than that. But if you go to eDance website, which also has a free journal suggester tool, they have almost 30,000 journals listed there. All our journals as well as journals from all good publishers. So from 30,000, you will get some 20 or 25 journals, which are basically top listed journal. And it is nothing but a SEO checking, of your paper. They check the keyword, they check the title, they check the details, and then they suggest, okay, this is a journal. So you go to the list. First, you click and see, okay, this is the scope of the journal, whether I want to publish it or not in this. You see how quickly they are publishing the work. You get all the details, whether they have impact factor or not. If you are satisfied, you submit your paper. If you're not satisfied, go to the next in the list. So you have a list of some 10, 12, 15 journals which are suggested in your area. So that makes your life very easy. Because Journal Suggester is good in a way, because sometimes, there are good journals which are getting started. Now, suppose I start a journal today. So it is not listed anywhere. You will not get to know about that journal at all. But Journal Suggester is a tool. They will fetch out that for you. So that is very helpful. Yeah. Any more question? If you have, I will be very happy to answer them. Thank you, Dr. Kiran. It's usually I love to, as I said, I love to go to conferences because here virtually time is always very limited. But in a physical conference, you go and stand in a corner with a coffee in your hand and you talk to people at a length. A lot of queries come to mind during the whole day, and you can discuss with them. So that is the beauty of a conference. Actually, this is not virtually. You can have meetings. You don't have conferences. But COVID has taught us how to do it, and Zoom is helping us to doing it. But hopefully, we will meet soon in any other conference. But if you have any question, you can write to me also. Not a worry. If you really think that after using any tool or anything, you feel that important. Can we come to a conclusion that all Scopus Index journals are good? Now you want me to say something which I don't want. Anyways, Scopus is a body which is basically indexing journals, right? Indexing means they are looking at the journal and they are trying to see, okay, this is a genuine thing they are doing. But I don't see that you have to look at every time Scopus Index journals. Or I fail to understand this, because people always try to publish and see immediately whether it is Scopus Index because of their API, because of their career, because of their promotions and all. But the important thing is you have to see the scope of the journal, whether the scope is matching or not. That is important. Maybe it is not indexed by Scopus, maybe it is indexed by SCI, maybe it is indexed by DBLP, maybe it is indexed by someone else. But importantly, you have to see that it is all Scopus Index journals cannot be good journals. It is obvious. Scopus is not giving any authentication or stamping that this is a good journal. They are just saying this journal is basically indexed by Scopus. So some journals published by Springer are not indexed in Scopus, but not in case of IEEE. No, this is not the case. See, Scopus has a very clear rule and guideline that if you start a journal, new journal, then after running that journal for first 2 years, then only you can apply for Scopus indexing. Otherwise, you cannot even do that. So usually people run the journal for 4 or 5 years, then they go for indexing. So first 4 or 5 years, many journals are not indexed, number one. Secondly, it's all domain specific. Many people, many areas, they don't look at scopus indexing at all. This is very important when we are talking about especially computer science. People see and in engineering that it has to be scopus indexed. You go to any medical journal or anything, they are not bothered about scopus indexing. They are more importantly look at the scope of the conference and all. So when I submit a paper, I will check the Scopus website and then submit. After the publication of my paper, it is not indexed in Scopus. No, it is not possible that way. It's very seldom that Scopus is taking that journal out immediately. It is not a possibility. But definitely, as I said, it's an indexing body, right? It indexes, and every year it analyzes, reanalyzes. They have their own quality team to look at it. Suppose it is not there, and it is not performing well, and the journal is not doing well, not getting enough papers, then they take out that journal, maybe because of many reasons. They don't want to index it anymore. So there is a possibility that it happens, but mostly this is a very unique case. If you are looking at the Scopus website, it is there, and immediately after publication it is removed. This is not happening in many cases. But it is removed from the database if that you cannot do anything if it is happening also. So see, all these databases are like created to help, to be very honest with you, not researchers, to help librarians. All these databases were created to help librarians. Impact factor, even impact factor was created to help librarians, so that they get to know, okay, this is my funding is available and this is what we can do. And these are the good journals or the journals which we can actually take every year from different publishers. But now researchers are becoming slave of all these indexing bodies and impact factor and all. So even impact factor, if you see, impact factor is a very it's all dependent on subjects. Mathematics, they don't look at impact factors. Clinical medicine impact factor is even more than 30, 40, 50, like for journals. So it all depends on which area, which domain you are working in right now. Yes, any more questions or anything, any comment, anything you want to give? Thank you, Gurbaksh. Thank you so much. It's always good to talk to you guys, because it's important thing is discussion, that helps, because many queries are there always when you talk about publication, but you don't get clear answers. And it's a learning for us also, when we talk to authors, we learn a lot, because you are there who are doing all these activities, right? And when you face any problem, that is basically eye-opening for us. Okay, this is something which is happening and we want to help you in that area. Some of the newly started journals are claiming impact factor of 4. I don't know where you are looking at. If there are many fake impact factor websites also, please be very aware of it. So don't go to fake sites. Be very cautious about it. So impact factor is only given by one organization, and that is Clarivate. That was Reuters at one point of time. So they have their Web of Knowledge SCI journal thing and SCI indexing, and they only give impact factor. What is the time required for publication Q1, Q2? No, there is nothing like that. Q1, Q2 will have longer time, or Q4 will never. It's all depends on which domain, which area, where you are publishing, and that how much submissions are there in this journal, how many reviewers are available in that area. Sometimes you have written a paper in a very focused area, very niche area. Finding a reviewer is a very big challenge at that time. At that point in time, it's not easy to find a reviewer at times. It's very difficult. That is the biggest problem all the publishers, all journal editors are facing at this point of time, getting a good reviewer. Because see, you have to understand, reviewers are also researchers. They have a commitment to their own work. In their own research, own work, own classes they have to take. They are academicians. Beside that, they are coming and doing this activity. So it's not that Q1, Q2 is going to take more time or Q4 is going to take more time. No, it's not that. It's basically, which journal. So these details are very much available nowadays in the homepage of a journal. If you go to the homepage of a journal, it says how much average time they take for the first decision, how much average time they take for the complete decision. So look at them, look at those. So read. That is the whole idea, is to go and check and read. That is the important thing. Blindly don't go to any journal blindly, because you have now journal suggester, you have people, you have tools. So find a suitable place and then submit it. I think no more questions, and thank you everyone for this thing. In continuation of current research, we have another. If you publish an article in future, can we use the results already published in addition to our new results? Will it be considered as... See, that is what I said in the beginning when we were talking about self-plagiarism. If it is not needed in your recent paper, then you can refer it. And if you are not able to refer it, you need that particular section to be used in your paper, take permission. Go back and take permission. Even if it is your own content, you have to take permission and reuse it. That is very important. Anything which is published before, if it is used in the same form, it is plagiarism. If it is your own paper, it is self-plagiarism. If it is someone else's paper, it is plagiarism. So why go into that arena, when you have a possibility of taking permission back? And this is something very common. You go to rights and permission, go to that rights link page and take it back. Yeah, thank you everyone. So I have given my email ID in case you have any questions afterwards also. I know people do have questions after using the tools. Please come back. Please write to me. And thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Ashish. Good to see you virtually. Hopefully we will see each other. Next month I am coming to India. So in second half of March. So let's see if we can meet up.
Sure, sir.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. For our next
Thank you.
keynote session, thank you so much, sir, for your time. For the next keynote session, and I'm really sorry if I mispronounced the name, we have Professor David Camacho from Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, Spain, and also the editor-in-chief, Expert Systems Journal, Wide. He is a full-time professor at Computer Systems Engineering Department of UPM and the head of the Applied Intelligence and Data Analysis Research Group at UPM. He holds a PhD in Computer Science from Universidad Carlos III de Madrid in 2001 with honors, Best Thesis Award in Computer Science. He has published more than 300 journals, books, and conference papers. His research interests include machine learning, clustering or deep learning, computational intelligence, evolutionary computation and swarm intelligence, social network analysis, fake news, and disinformation analysis. He has participated or led more than 50 research projects, Spanish and European, including H2020, DG Justice, ISFP, and Erasmus+, related to the design and application of artificial intelligence methods for data mining and optimization for problems emerging in industrial scenarios, aeronautics, aerospace engineering, cybercrime, cyber intelligence, social network applications, video games, among others. He serves as the editor-in-chief of Expert Systems from 2023 and sits on the editorial board of several journals, including Information Fusion, IEEE Transactions on Emerging Topics in Computational Intelligence, Human-Centric Computing and Information Sciences, HCIS, and Cognitive Computation, among others. The title for this keynote talk is Working on New AI Methods to Counter Disinformation. We welcome you, sir. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind introduction. I will first give my sincere apologies for not staying connected yesterday on time. I'm sorry to admit that I got confused about the Indian Standard Time, IST, and the Central European Time. So maybe, Deepak, I'm sorry, because sometimes I'm a little bit confused on what part of the world I'm trying to connect. So I will start sharing my screen. So let me know if you can see my presentation. Is the first thing to solve, right?
It is visible, sir.
It's fine. Okay. So first, after my apologies, right, for not stay on time. I'm from Spain, but usually I'm on time on every conference that I'm invited, right? So I would like to thanks to the organization of the conference for the kind invitation to give me the opportunity to present some of our current work on AI disinformation technique, AI techniques to countering or to handle the disinformation problem here in the world. So what are currently doing in my research group to try to combat this huge problem in the world. So first, I would like to introduce a little bit my research group here in Madrid. The name is Aida, like the famous opera of Verdi, right? The name is from Applied Intelligence and Data Analysis Group. We are placed on the Technical University of Madrid. The correct pronunciation, the correct name in Spanish is Universidad Politécnica de Madrid. We are a multidisciplinary research group with more than 400 or 500 publications, right? And near to more than 50 research projects, competitive research projects in different areas, especially in the area we are working. We can distinguish between two basic research areas. The first one are related to the basic research concepts. So we are working usually in bio-inspired computations of computing and machine learning. We have worked on machine learning, on clustering, and most recently on deep learning techniques. And their application, on the other side, we have like a large number of research applications, mainly focused on social network analysis, big data, disinformation capturing, of course, malware detection, risk assessment of related to radicalization problems, unmanned aerial vehicles, etc., etc. We have worked even on video games and gamification in the past. So we have a good number of research application areas, and we are trying to develop new artificial intelligence techniques to know how to apply it to this real complex domain. Regarding this topic, the topic of disinformation, currently we are like 8, 9, 10 people more or less working on this area. You can see there more or less the names of my current colleagues that in my group they are working on this area. And so our intention over this research line is to work with a particular piece of information that is generating a lot of problems in our societies, right? We talk about usually information disorder, not about fake news. The popular content, the popular concept is to talk about fake news, but it's not enough to describe the whole picture about what happens with information that are currently flowing in the internet. So we are trying to detect and to prevent the expansion of this kind of misleading information, this inaccurate information that could be sent or could be propagated, could be spread through the networks with or without the intent of harming to third parties, people, institutions, organizations, societies, governments, etc. So this is our current goal. You can see here, I think this is a better description of what we are really interested. It is more or less about this misleading information that could be false, usually is false, but sometimes the information is true. But you can use different features to describe if you are trying to intend to harm anyone or simply to spread this information. So the expression fake news is very popular, but usually doesn't represent enough the complex reality of misinformation, of this malinformation, this information disorder, right? You can see here I will try to give you a shorter keynote, and I sent to the organization a complete and full description of my talk with more details. So you can go to this full description of my keynote, and you will find there a lot of details. So some examples very popular about disinformation or misinformation, you can see like in health, right? This from the past years, it has been a lot of groups, anti-vaccines groups, generating some false information about the effects, the health effects on the population about if you take or a vaccine to protect yourself and your family against the COVID-19. Or it's very popular in every part of the world. I have put there a couple of examples on the bottom. You can see here in Europe we have a popular problem with the Brexit. You know, now the UK is not more in EU, in the European Union, and was based on a very aggressive and not very clear and not very truth campaign against the European Union. And you know, the problems with this fake, not very truth or not completely accurate or not completely truth information generated by politicians like Donald Trump, right, in the United States. So, and I'm absolutely sure that you will have a lot of similar problems in India related to any kind of your everyday life society problems, from politics, from health, from economics, etc., etc. So you know, there's a lot of information that that usually is not very accurate, and sometimes this information are directly false, right? So our goal, of course, we have now another problem here in Europe, as you know, is the Ukraine war, the invasion from Russia of Ukraine. And you know, there is like a very hard battle about propaganda from Russia, and of course even from Ukraine, to demonstrate that one of these, any of these part are on the right side. So we are making something honest, right? So you know that from Russia there is a lot of fake news that are currently generated and spread over Europe or over the rest of the world, to try to demonstrate that Russia are on the right way, or they are making the correct thing, invading Ukraine. So what are we looking for when we think about how to use artificial intelligence and these disinformation and misinformation problems? Of course, this is like more or less the holy grail of any researcher or any company. So we would like to automatically detect disinformation, misinformation, any kind of information disorder. We would like to generate why this information are false or are wrong or are mislead information, right? So you need to give some explanations. Of course, you would be very happy if you could stop the spreading of this information, because the disinformation is always dangerous for anyone. And of course, it could be very useful to detect who are generating or spreading the misinformation, right? In order to block or to combat or to counter these guys that sometimes, you know, they are bots, but usually there are some real people behind the generation and the spreading of this information. So, okay, we have an extremely powerful tool that the name is artificial intelligence, methods and techniques. So what can we do with these techniques? Okay, we can try to develop new technologies to detect and prevent and stop the fake news, the misinformation, disinformation, for instance, in the social networks, right? But you can use these techniques to create and spread, right? Or even to generate large scales campaigns, right? So you can use these techniques on both sides. So of course you can use the techniques to detect and prevent, to counter disinformation, or you can use these technologies to generate disinformation. I call this second way like the dark side. So you can use AI techniques and models to generate this information, right? And you can use these models to generate text, false text, image, or video, right? So most of I will briefly mention the different architectures that are currently used to generate false information. Of course, these architectures from AI are usually used to generate false information, to train models to detect better in more with more accurate precision, right, the false information. But for instance, there is a lot of work to related to machine learning models to generate false information. Maybe the most well-known architecture is Malcolm, that is able to take some piece of textual information and generate some mislead information. Of course, now it's extremely popular, this chat GPT or GPT-3 models that you can ask directly to these natural language process models, generate any kind of mislead information about this topic, and these models will generate some paragraphs that are consistent, so that you could believe on the content. So there is a lot of you can see here through my presentation different research works or research papers that they are, I think, very good. They are very good and that describe very accurately the current state of text generation. Of course, it is very popular. It's very popular to generate false information using images from the last maybe 10 years. It has been done usually manually using different software tools. Now you can use machine learning models, deep learning models to generate false images that are absolutely indistinguishable to a real image. So you can see here like how you can use deep learning models from a real satellite image to generate any other thing that could be possible, right? So the goal here is how to detect when an image is false or is true, right? Of course, maybe the most well-known and the most popular disinformation generation based on images are the deep fakes. So, you know, it's extremely popular. So you can use real pictures and you can combine with my picture, for instance, and generate something new. So it is very difficult to distinguish again when these images are correct or when these images are really false. Even the technology are so good that it is practically impossible to distinguish between a real example and a false example. Of course, there's a lot of literature that you can consult to know about the current state of the work of false image generation. Of course, there are a lot of different models, there are a lot of different tools, so it's quite easy to generate. It's quite easy to generate false images that it could be very difficult to distinguish for a human if the image is true or is false. Now the future is on the multimodal side, especially on because there are some works on false audio generation. So the future is how to generate multimodal fake information, like the video fake generation. This is a very popular video fake that was generated under the law with the permission from the family. This is a very popular folk singer here in Spain. He passed away some years ago, but she's extremely popular. She's one of the very popular Spanish singer, right? And this was generated a false video, right? Only for marketing purposes. It was for a beer company, right? To sell beer to the people, but it was absolutely impossible to distinguish the video, the false video from the real people. So it was generated using millions of images from this. This is the singer, and this is the actress, right? That was used to generate the final model. So as you can see here, there are few examples. There are less examples than in the case of fake image generation or fake text generation. But now it's a very hot place to work in video and multimodal generation. Right. I discussed about this topic of fake generation, fake image, text, video generation. If this is really or not is really today a current problem for our societies. Most of when I talk with journalists are like the fighters again, the fighters against this kind of toxic information. When I talk with journalists, they usually say to me that this is today currently is not a problem. Why? Because you need to have a very good level of expertise, right? You need to have a lot of technical knowledge to generate a very good video, a fake video or a fake image to be consistent, right? And to be able to mislead a lot of people in your societies. So currently there are some companies or some governments that could be interested and that could hire some technical people to generate these contents. They said to me, okay, David, usually currently we don't see this a problem. So currently the problems of disinformation are generated by people, right? Maybe this will be a problem in 5 years or in 10 years. We will have a problem when anyone without any kind of technical knowledge or any technical expertise can, in some few hours, generate a huge amount of fake information, right? But this is more or less a real information. So we are, of course, on the right side of this movie. We're on the right side. Why? Because we're trying to generate new models to detect and prevent, right, disinformation. So in our case, when you are planning to develop any kind of new machine learning system or any new kind of artificial intelligence system, you need to think about two main things: the features that will be used to train your algorithms, to develop your algorithms, to train your machine learning models, etc., etc. And you can see here in this taxonomy, it's a very good paper that divides the taxonomy in three main kind of features: creators, right, like the behavior of this possible user, this feature that you can try to use about the profile of the user. If you can access to some kind of feature related to the credibility of the behavior of the user, the content itself that is usually based on, for instance, if you are trying to analyze the text or linguistic, syntactic or semantic features, how you are writing, right? Now it's very difficult to use these features because, you know, the current deep learning models, they generate in an excellent way paragraphs and sentences that are very, very difficult to distinguish for a human. You can try to use, of course, some features based on the style or the visual features. So sometimes related to some features extracted from the content, and of course you can use if you are trying to analyze the behavior of the guy, the creator, or of the content, and you are trying to put this guy, this actor, and the content in a network, like in online social network, you can use other kind of features, like those based on how many what are your features related to your account in your online social network, how many followers, what are about your connection, the times, this kind of features that you could say, okay, this account is generating like 100,000 tweets per day, and this account has no followers, so maybe it's a bot, right? So you can go there. And of course, once you have tried, or you have or you have gathered your features, you can think about what kind of techniques are going to use to detect and to try later to forecast and to prevent the disinformation. Of course, you can see here, like even deep learning has been separated from machine learning, because it is extremely popular, to use currently deep learning. And on the right part, you can use different approaches like anomaly detections, diffusion patterns. So there is a lot of different models or techniques for artificial intelligence that you can use. So I will focus on these two main areas: natural language processing and social network analysis, that currently we are using. These are the four pillars, the four fundamental dimensions to handle the problem of information disorder. What about the knowledge, right? What are you saying in this piece of information? About the style, how are you saying something about this information? Other related to the propagation of the information, and about the source. Okay, you can say something about the source, this account, this is a human, you can trust in this account, etc., etc. So we are using currently on the right side of this figure social network analysis to analyze the spread of the information, and to analyze the source, right? And on the left side of this image, we are using currently natural language processing to analyze the content and the style of the messages. Natural language processing is a very complex area, so we are mainly focused on semantics. So we are really interested on the relationship and the meanings between words and sentences. So we try to understand if a new tweet or if a new piece of information is related to one store a false claim that we have analyzed previously. On the other hand, we are using social network analysis to detect the behavior of these actors. So we analyze, the online social network as a graph, and every node is an account that could be a person or not. And we try to use some community detection and software social network analysis techniques to analyze the behavior and the spread and how this account is spreading its information. So as you can see here, so we are developing a new framework for data gathering, for measuring the similarity of the information, to extract some information from the author profiling, to tracking this information, to analyze the spreading velocity, etc., etc. Always with the idea to detect very as soon as possible the creation and of new misleading information. Right. So from NLP, of course, we work a lot of years ago in classical NLP. So it's based on pre-processing, feature extraction, and model generation. So we are very interested to work mainly on sentiment classification and entity extraction. And we start to use deep learning methods, transformers, like 4 or 5 years ago. So, and the main difference is that, of course, you are using convolutional neural networks, deep learning networks, right? And the pre-processing that was absolutely essential in the classical NLP now is not necessary if you have enough data to train your architectures. And we have another advantage using deep learning models, that is the concept of the word embedding. So you can use this word embedding representation to take into account semantic relationship between or among different words inside a sentence. So you can use this new kind of architecture, and is extremely popular. The most well-known architecture is BERT, right, from Google. That was published only or generated or open to the community only 4 years ago, 4 years ago. So it's less than 5 years. And these architectures use a piece of inside the architecture, use the module that the name is attention, that can be used to study, so detects the relationship between words. So you can use this kind of architectures to detect if there is some semantic relation between the word vaccine, autism, and cause. So you can use these very well-known architectures to analyze these relationships. So between the different NLP tasks, we are currently focused on these two, entailment and similarity. What it means, entailment? Entailment means that we're interested to know if you compare two different a sentence, if this sentence supports a particular claim. For instance, if you think that the face mask cause hypoxia, right? If you are opposite to this claim, or if this is neutral. And of course, we are very interested to compare the similarity between two different sentences, right? On our current ongoing projects, we're focused on multilingualism. Why? Because, okay, most of the research work has been done in English. Why? Because there is a huge label data that are always in English. There are really billions of documents online. So you can use very large size data sets and even the Wikipedia to train your models. But we are very interested. I'm from Spain and work for a lot of different guys from Europe or United States in other non-English languages. So we have more or less medium resources, right? So we have label data, but it is not so huge as English. And of course, there are other languages in the world that they don't have so data to train your models. So multilingualism is a very nice place to work on this area. Currently, we are working on these topics. In NLP, we are training new language models, we are designing new architectures, and we are trying to generate, we are generating a new fact-checking, semi-automated fact-checking architecture. I will describe very briefly later. And the idea to detect using natural language processing is to detect or to analyze this information inside the online social network. We are using Twitter currently, and we are moving now because now we have some problems with the API of Twitter because it has been closed, and we don't know if we will be able to continue with our work in this online social network. So we are moving to Twitch and to other, because we are moving from natural language processing to multimedia, right? And our idea is to understand better how the information is generated, how is it spreading in the social networks, and of course to detect the communities that they are involved in this spreading of this information. This is more or less, this is our architecture. So we are very interested to automatize the retrieval, the gathering of the information. Layer we need to compare, to detect the similarity. We need to analyze the semantics, and we need to compare how similar or dissimilar are to our facts that has been checked by professionals, right? And layer we have developing a new fact-checking system for professionals in the near future for anyone that will be able to build these graphs and to analyze the propagation cascades, right? So probably we have published in several papers this architecture. The name is FactCheck. It's a semi-automated fact-checking tool that allows to check the similarity using natural language inference. It is one of the main features is that it's multilingual. So currently in our papers, we are usually comparing Spanish against English, but in our last paper, we are using more than 20 different languages. So this is really a multilingual architecture. And of course, the architecture allows to automatically gather information, etc., and track this information and analyze the information. It is based on 3 basic modules, right? One module for the automatic gathering and data retrieval from online social networks. Currently, it's working for Twitter, but we have new modules to retrieve information from other online social networks. I think currently we have a couple of scripts to download information from Twitch, from another, not from WhatsApp, from Telegram, right? So we are currently downloading information from other social networks. We have another module to evaluate the semantic similarity between our stored claims in our database and the new gather information, and we are using natural language inference techniques. Of course, you can see here, for instance, one of our current ongoing projects and some relevant publications that you can go there to see the details. So this I will pass fast over these slides. So this represents our current retrieval module. So we are using deep learning architectures to extract the main entities, the main keywords, and to generate new sentences to retrieve more information, more similar information, right? You can see here, like we filter the keywords, we identify the language. It's very important to think at this point that we can generate information, we can generate keywords in different languages. So this is an example. This is an example of a Spanish hoax related. You can see here the complementary hoax or rumor in English related to COVID vaccines and Coca-Cola and Coke, etc., and how we are extracting the keywords and generating the queries, right? There are here a couple of hoaxes. So we are generating queries in a multilingual way. So we are retrieving information in different languages. This is very interesting, right? And later, you will retrieve information. And we are using several deep learning models, right? And we are using an ensemble and some techniques for dimensional interreduction, very popular, like PCA, principal component analysis, right? To reduce the dimension and to generate this new embeddings. Of course, our idea is to compare this new claim against our verified hoaxes to know, to discover if this claim is talking about this hoax and if this claim is supporting or rejecting, right? This is the main idea. To know, of course, one of the problems with this semantic similarity approach that is based on ensembles and PCA is, of course, that we are using PCA to improve the accuracy of our models, but we are losing the interpretability of our results. So this is a problem, because if you remember, one of the goals is to try to explain why any kind of claim is true or is false. So we can use this technique to improve our accuracy, but we are losing interpretability. So sometimes it's a problem. So you can see in these papers the different results, and I will only highlight this result that is very interesting, because one claim, one sentence, one tweet is in English, and the other one is in Spanish. Using this ensemble, we have an accurate of 84.53% of accuracy. So it's a pretty good result, because you are comparing the sentences in two different languages. And I can assure to the public that there's no similarities between Spanish and English. They are the roots of these languages are very different, right? So the system works, right? Right. So later you can compare how similar or dissimilar are. And later we are using these natural language inference models to try to discover, right? To try to discover if these claims are supporting or rejecting the claim. So if they are supporters or they are opposite to the fake detected. So we can use our tool like a semi-automatic fact checking without any kind, only using like the semantic similarity and natural language inference modules, or we can use this is the whole tool to gather, to analyze the semantics, to analyze the claims, if the claims support or reject the fakes, and for tracking the information. So this is the whole functionality of our tool. This is a very simple example about 71 hoaxes that we detect that was analyzed from Twitter related, all of them with fake news related to COVID-19, right? So you can go to the paper, and the idea was here to analyze how several hoaxes, you can see here an example, the hoaxes that the face mask cause hypoxia to the people, so you have some problem for breathe, right? If you use face masks, and this was the hoax, the evolution of the hoax of the fake news, and this was the reaction of the fake checkers of the fact checkers companies, and how it was reduced the negative effect of this hoax. This is another example that was not countered by the fact checkers company, how it was more intensive and more long time. It was the apparition of this hoax was take more time in the network, because no fact checker company fight against this rumor, and it was about that the definition of pandemic was changed by the World Health Organization only for economical reasons, right? So currently here you can see a new paper. All of these papers are from this year or past year, so about how we implement this natural language inference module, and is based on a special architecture, deep learning architecture. The name is CMS architecture. So it's like two different architectures, and you put one of the claims here and one of the claims here, and you finally compare using the two different modules of the CMS architecture, if they are similar, dissimilar, or if they are supporting, or if they are against this, so if they are opposite. So the idea is quite simple. So it's when you use natural language inference, the idea is, okay, these two different sentences are saying the same, or are one of these are opposite. Of course, our goal is to compare sentences in always in different languages, right? Because there are a lot of work done in this. Yeah, if you compare English against English, or Spanish against Spanish, or Hindi against Hindi, right? But I think it's very interesting to compare, for instance, English against Hindi. Why? Because you can see how there are a lot of people that can use online social networks that takes a fake news from any kind of source in English and translate or and spread and propagate in India, right? These fake news that are changing, right, by the people. So this is more examples about how it works, and we demonstrate in this paper that, okay, it's working quite well. The results were quite promising, right? This is one of our projects, right? That we are first using our fact checker architecture. The name is this track, and I will see directly to avoid a very long keynote. I will show you a video, or a video demonstration of our tool. This tool is complete, so we can extract, process the similarity and the natural and to make inference about the tweets, and later we can analyze the different nodes and the different connections inside the network. So the idea is about the propagation. We are using cascades, right? It's the classical structure. So you can download the different tweets, the different accounts. You can generate the graph. You can analyze the accounts. Sometimes if you can work with professionals like from journalism or from the fact-checking world, they analyze this account, and they can give you the correct label. So this account is a malicious actor, for instance. So later you can analyze who are the spreaders, the most important people inside the network, right? And I will see you this tool. This tool is currently used by 2 or 3 fact checkers companies. So it's under. So it's a beta version, right? And it's not currently open to anyone. If you are interested, I can give you some examples. And this is a video. This is a short video. I have another longest video about how our AI for disinformation tool is currently working. So you can see here. This is an example about how you can use a store hoax rumor, how you can generate the different nodes and the different how can you generate the graph and analyze the different behaviors of the nodes. You can see that this is a simple representation because there are usually hundreds or thousands of nodes, so it is sometimes difficult. So the tool gives you the possibility to analyze each node and the information. So you can go to the web to check that this the exact information. So you can select and explore several nodes inside the graph, right? Again, you can go there and see the text. You can see inside the tool several statistical tools to know, okay, you remember about, okay, this account, how many followers, how many people are following, what is the behavior of this guy, no? Even the author name, you can group by authors, etc. Because sometimes you can detect the people and you can know that he or she is a journalist and he's working on a fact-checking company. You can see there, like we can detect using NLI, natural language inference, if a particularly node is supporting or rejecting a particular piece of this claim. So you can see here in this video, like we have several hoax stored in our database, right? So here, for instance, I have another longest video. I think I will not see completely. This video is to show to the people, okay, you can include a company, you can insert a claim, you can download the tweets, you can build your graphs, and you can check everything, you can analyze. For instance, these are like the 4 or 5 fact-checking companies that we are currently working. Sorry, where are you? Is over there. So we have already, wow, it's very difficult to stop this. So we have, I think, 5 different fact-checking companies. So give me a second now. Here it is. All of these, oh no, sorry. So all of these are really real companies that are working with us. Okay, let's go. So this is an example about how these companies can go inside the tool, this track, right? And insert their companies. IFCN is the International Fact-Checking Network, right? That is working worldwide. And you can see there we have like claims in Spanish and in English currently. I think we have now some claims in Portuguese, right? So this is an example about how you can insert the fake news or the disinformation, how you can put the different information and will go fast, the date, the information, etc., etc. And later, this shows how you can say to the tool, okay, download 1,000 tweets related to this claim. So later you can remember, I will generate using our deep learning models, our transformers. This we will extract the entities, we will generate the queries, and we will go to the Twitter to download these different tweets. And after that, we can generate from this set, or this data set of downloaded tweets, we can generate the graph, and we can generate a new graph to give the opportunity to the professional to analyze what's happened with this claim, right? So this is interesting because you can see here, this is again about a problem related to the hoaxes of the vaccines, ARN vaccines, and the COVID-19. You can see here how we can select these tweets that are neutral, that supports or that contradicts the claim, right? To analyze the accounts. So you can see here, like we can make zoom, right? For instance, we detect there that these nodes belong to a fact-checking company, right? That it was not in the system. So you can select these nodes, you can go to the system, and you can say that this company, Maldito Bulo in Spanish, Maldito, is a fact-checking company. So you can go to the system, introduce this company, etc., etc. And later these nodes will change of the color to and it will be detected as a new fact checker company. So it is very important to track the behavior of the different guys. Now you can see here it's generating the now you can see here how the color of the node has changed, because now the system knows that, okay, this is a fact checker. So this is very important to know if the trust, because fact checkers are always detecting fake news and giving information, giving explanation about why this news is fake, right? So this is more or less everything that I want to show you this morning about our fact checker, semi-automatic fact checker architecture. But to conclude, I would like to give some three more points in this talk. I think, okay, I'm on time still. Some selective publication, because if you have seen my presentation, you have seen that I put in my presentation a lot of very good research papers through my presentations that I think they are they are sometimes very basic, very fundamental papers for anyone that would like to be to research or to start to work in this area. But of course, we have published a lot of papers about this topic, so everyone is very welcome if anyone is to download these papers, to read these papers, and of course, if you want to support the research, you know how to do that. Always citing the research, always. So we have there, like in the final slides of this presentation, some very recent papers. Some of them are currently publishing in different journals about the architecture, the machine learning models, and the applications, exact application, usually to two different areas, research areas: health, related to anti-vaccines groups, and politics, right? And politics. So politics and health are moving more or less our application areas currently. So you can see here several of our recent publications. We have published during the last year other papers related to fake news, about information disorders. So you are really welcome, really invited to take a look to these slides and to take a look to some of these papers. If you have, we started to work in this area in several years ago, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, in topics related to radicalization and extremism, right? So this is our starting point in this area, radicalization and extremism. We have some papers related. Currently, we are working on, we have in my research group 6 ongoing projects related to this disinformation, misinformation, fake news, malinformation, toxic information production. And we have these 6 projects funded by private companies like Mobile World Capital, like banks, like our national government, or like the European Union. So we are very active in this area, and we are always open to cooperate and to collaborate with other research groups. Currently, I'm preparing a new research group with Korea, for instance, related to this topic. Right, so we are open to work in this area because we think this is a very sensitive and a very critical area for anyone, for any society, for any country in the world. So I will mention very briefly this. Martini is our latest project, granted project. I'm the coordinator of this project. This is an European project. We are 6 partners from 5 countries: Turkey, Lithuania, Estonia, France, and Spain, right? And we are working, as you can read in the title of this project, on new techniques that are trying to detect the behavior of malicious actors, the people that are inside the networks, generating and spreading information. And the main focus of this goal of this project is how to use, you can see here, our colleagues. I'm the coordinator, the Technical University of Valencia, Université Polytechnique Hauts-de-France, Mykolas Romelis University from Lithuania, Jasar University from Turkey, and Tallinn University from Estonia. So the idea here is to combine, because we are working with psychologists, with sociologists, and with people from politics, right? In cooperation with people from computer science, from multimedia analysis, from natural language processing, to generate a new, to increase our capacities from our previous tool that you see before, our demo of this track and factor check tool. And we have focused in this project on anti-immigrant movements. From politics, it's a very serious problem in Europe, and on anti-vaccine groups, because we have a lot of experience in this area. Of course, you can contact directly to me, or we have 6 projects ongoing. I'm the coordinator and the PI of 4 projects, and the other PI is one of my colleagues, Alejandro Martin. So any of us, we are always happy to receive any doubt, any curiosity, any email from anyone that could be interested. And finally, now I'm finishing, right? And finally, I would like to promote a couple of. I was hearing the previous talk about the journal, so I'm really agreed about some of the comments from our previous colleague, because it's extremely difficult to maintain the level, the research level and quality of the journals. And one of the challenge that we have in any journal is to find good reviewers. This is very, very challenging. So currently, for concluding this keynote, I would like to highlight a couple of things. The first one is I'm currently coordinating. I'm the lead guest editor of a new special issue in a very, very top and excellent journal, Information Fusion, right? And you can see there the link for this open call for papers. It's open for anyone, of course, that is working on at least some kind of multimodal fusion techniques or technologies. We are very interested to receive papers, always to counter disinformation, right? To counter disinformation, misinformation, fake news. We are open, right? The deadline is still working until, I think, June or July of this year. So you are invited to send out your work if you are currently working. If you have any doubt, of course, send me an email. And as our colleagues said before in my presentation, I'm working in different journals. Of course, I'm very, very glad of contribute as much as possible to different journals. But currently, I'm the editor-in-chief of Expert System. Is a traditional English. It's from Wiley. It's a very traditional computer science journal. I think it has very good reputation here in Europe. It is on the second quartile. And of course, I'm the editor-in-chief, and I'm always happy to receive contributions related to these topics and other computer science topics, of course, absolutely, related to expert systems. But I'm particularly interested in receiving very good journals, very good papers, and very good research works in my journal that I currently handle as editor-in-chief. So to conclude, I would like again to say thank you very much, and to acknowledge acknowledge to the organization of the conference for the kind invitation, and again to give my apologies for being wrong yesterday. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule and gracing us with those enlightening words. If there are any questions, we'll take them through chat, or you can contact us.
Through the chat. I can see the chat here or not. I suppose I can see the chat or not. Yeah. I'm not sure if I can see the chat currently.
I have the access to that. So if there are any questions, I'll just read them out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right. Looks like we don't have any questions as of now, but
You don't have questions, so you are not interested in this topic. It's a pity. Okay, maybe it's a lot of information. You have a complete the complete presentation is more than 130 slides. So I sent to Deepak. Thanks again, Deepak, for your invitation. And you can go there. You can download the papers. You can read. I think it's a very hot topic. I think it is very promising, and it's a very serious problem. So you can take your current AI techniques, and this is a very nice and very interesting domain to try to prove your models, to prove your algorithms, to prove your systems. And as you can see, there are a lot of interest from our governments here in Spain, in Europe, to fund projects, to fund research in this area. So it's a very hot topic. You are, of course, invited to send me, if you want, any email asking for any question, right?
Dear David, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
My name is Lyubov Oleshenko. I'm from Ukraine, from Kyiv Polytechnic Institute. Thank you very much for your speech. It's very interesting, and I agree with you. Question with war is very important because we have very different opposite information from youth, from Ukraine and from Russia, and it's very difficult. So I think your research is very important, and I want to ask you some question because I teach student machine learning, but I didn't work with NPL, just with neural networks, clustering, other models. Can you please advise some maybe data set in open access, maybe API, how to begin work with NPL using, data we can use for research? Thank you.
First, thank you very much. I'm a strongly support of Ukraine people and Ukraine country. It's extremely supporter, right? So, yes, we are currently working with people from Lithuania and Estonia, and I have a couple of contacts there in Ukraine now. Now it's very difficult, your situation, but we are not only working on NLP. We are not only working on natural language processing. This is one of our principal areas in this topic, right? But now we are moving to image processing because, you know, Russia government is flooding the network with false information and with propaganda, right?
Yes.
To justify something that is absolutely impossible to justify. But the people in Russia believes to the government. So you know how it works. So there are several data sets, but I think the easiest way is simply send me an email. I will give you some examples, or I will give you some data set, because there are a lot of different data sets, because depends if you are interested to work on natural language processing, or if you are interested to work on image processing, because if you have some expertise in neural network, it's very useful, because you can apply different part of this toxic information, right? That is generated in this case by the Russian government, right?
Yes.
Of course, this is a different world. This is a world about the information, about the public, about how to move the societies to support or to reject for instance, the invasion of Ukraine, right? So there are different data sets, and there are different areas. Research, computational there are different computational techniques and methods that you can use to work on this area. So the answer is, please send me an email, and I will send you some advices. I will be very glad to answer you. Right.
Thank you very much, because in this year I first time have diploma students which want to work with NPL model, but I not very well know in this area. So I will also learn
if
this.
you want, If you want to collaborate or to cooperate with my group, it will be a honor for us to cooperate with people from Ukraine.
Thank you very
Abs-
much for your
Absolutely.
support.
No.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, there's no people in India interested to work on this information. Okay.
Yeah,
So
maybe they are
thanks.
waiting. Maybe they are waiting to write you through email. So thank you so much, Dr. David, for joining us and accepting our invite. Although your keynote is yesterday and due
Yeah,
to
I'm sorry.
miscommunication or something, I requested you to give your keynote today. And I am very grateful, or all team of Icicc are grateful to you to accept on a short time that you will give your keynote today, as we missed out you yesterday. So we are grateful to you, and all the participants have hopefully enjoyed your session. And they will, if they are not working in this area, then they are thinking of doing any work in your area. Most of them are research scholars who are basically just started their research. So they can think over it in your area, and they will write back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And for the research scholars, think to work very hard in this area. We need a lot of people working to fight and to counter disinformation in the world. Thank you very much, Deepak. It has been a pleasure, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, once again for your valuable time. Now we are at the culmination of this extensive program, and for the closing ceremony, I'd like to invite Dr. Deepak Gupta.
Thank you, Raghav. It is a great honor for me to close this Icicc 2023. Icicc 2023 have received more than 850 papers, and after the peer review process, we need a lot of reviewers to review all these 850 papers. We are able to accept only 200 papers with an acceptance rate of 23%. The Icicc 2023 have received the submissions from 32 countries, which makes it a truly international conference. These 200 papers have been presented in the last 2 days in a total of 18 sessions. Out of these 18 sessions, 2 sessions are in offline mode and 16 sessions are in online mode. So I request all the authors to be in offline mode soon, so that we can have a offline meet with all the researchers, and you can get a lot of knowledge by meeting the different researchers and your peers. Thanks to all the participants who enthusiastically taken part in their paper presentation. We would like to thank our session chairs who evaluate their work presented by the participant. Icicc conference series have published in its lifetime have published more than 1,500 conference papers, and these published works has been cited 3,000 times with an H index of 21. So the conference in its lifetime have been attended by 4,000 participants, either in physical or virtual mode. The growth of Icicc is due to the participants of the conference who sends their latest research work, and also due to the faith shown by Springer and other steering and advisory committee members of Icicc. On behalf of the organizing committee of International Conference on Innovative Computing and Communication, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the governing management, faculties, staff, and students of organizing institutes, Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies, Delhi University, National Institute of Technology, Patna, and University of Valladolid, Spain, the keynote speakers from Spain, UK, and India, our panelists, delegates, session chairs, paper presenters, and participants of this conference from 32 countries. Yesterday, we have an inaugural ceremony. So I would like to thank our chief guest, Mr. Vikas Goel, Professor Naveen Gupta, guest of honor from Delhi University, Professor Rajesh Ingal, our distinguished delegate, Professor K. Ratnabali, the chairperson of SSCBS, Professor Poonam Verma, principal, SSCBS, Professor P.K. Jain, director, NIT Patna, Professor Prabhat Kumar, general chair. During the conference, I would like to thank our keynote speaker, Dr. David Camacho from University of Madrid, Spain, Professor B.K. Panigri from IIT Delhi, Mr. Aninda Bose from Springer, London. We are grateful to them for accepting the invitation to take part in Icicc and share their expertise and knowledge on the topic with the participants of this conference. I would like to thank our sponsors, student volunteers, reviewers, authors, and publishing partners for their constant support in organizing the conference. My sincere thanks goes to Dr. Samir Anand and Dr. Ajay Jaiswal from the Hosh Institute, Mr. Mulchan Sharma from Maharaja Agha Singh Institute of Technology, and Dr. Gulshan Srivastava from Galgoti University. Without them, this conference would not be possible. We are looking forward for your support to submit your papers regularly in our conference series. Our next upcoming conference is in June 2023, International Conference on Data Analytics and Management, which are being held in London Metropolitan University, London, and whose proceeding will also be published by Springer. So we hope that you will look forward for that conference and submit your research work for consideration. At last, I would like to thank our student volunteers for the smoother conduction of the conference hybrid mode. Now, I am happy to announce that the conference is a grand success. It is an honor for me to thank all the participants of Icicc 2023. Thank you so much. Over to Raghav.
Thank you so much, sir. This brings us to the end of the proceedings of Icicc 2023. Thank you everyone for attending, and we wish you a pleasant day or night wherever you are. Hope to host you again next year. Thank you so much. Good day.
Thank you very much.
Can we have a group photo? If I can ask
Thank you, Professor David.
Please switch on their camera. Ekansh, kindly allow all the participants to switch on their camera.
Yes, sir, everyone can.
You can take a photograph. I hope it is done. So thank you so much, Dr. David. Ekansh, you can close the meeting.